Do you know what I like to do when I get done filming an episode for Four Collectors with Sammy Thunder and Orlando from A Collector's Dream? I like to look at some baseball cards. All right, guys, me and my man Rick over at Vintage Oddball Cards, we were honored to participate in Hobby Palooza this past weekend. And I'm going to put the link to our episode in the description here if you haven't checked it out already. We called it Stay Off My Lawn. And the first few minutes we joke around, but then we get serious. And we take a look and a dive into the wonderful world of e-cards. And they are cards you don't see every day. We showed some great stuff. So if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out, I'll have the link in the description. You know, I was with I'm going to show you some rare cards, but before I get into that, I was over at my friend's house, and they have a little girl. She's 2. She'll be 3 not too long from now. And I guess she was throwing rocks into the pool or something, and her dad said, you know, you shouldn't throw rocks into the pool. And she said, I don't care. And apparently this stuck with her, and it became her motto. And so for the whole time, she'd come up to me and she'd say, I don't care, Uncle John. And whatever you say to her, she'd be like, I don't care. And I thought, what a wonderful attitude. You know, I should make a seminar series around that. You know, that's way better than something for dummies. It's the I don't care series. I don't care. And I just thought that was so powerful, because if you don't care, nobody holds anything over you. Nothing. I don't care. You know, I got a 7 instead of a 10 from PSA. I don't care. People don't like the cards I have. I don't care. You know, and the Buddhists, right? The Buddhists give up all their material possessions because material possessions can stress you out. If you own a home, you're stressed out to pay the home taxes. You're stressed out when your air conditioning goes out and you have to buy a new one, or you need a new roof. When you have material possessions, you get stressed out. You get stressed out when you have a car and on your way to the National, you get a flat tire and you're stuck at a crack house all by yourself. You know, material possessions can stress you out. And sometimes I think we need reminded of that in our hobby, because it's supposed to be a fun thing, but sometimes we get stressed out because we care. My new motto is, I don't care. I don't care. Man, it's so liberating. I can't tell you. All right, let's look at some cards. I just have some random cards here, and I have a few really, really rare sets that I wanted to show you. First, I wanted to show you this. This is Eddie Moore. His real name was Charlie. And a shout out to Chris, who turned me on to this player. This is 1933 Gowdy. And Mr. Moore here has an interesting story. He came up with the Pirates, and Pie Trainer was in a bit of a slump. He was in a bad slump. And Eddie Moore was a young third baseman. And he played so great for the Pirates that he actually almost unseated the great Pie Trainer at third base, Eddie Moore. So I had to get his card. Chris always influences me. All right. Hey, got to Stephen Kwan. As of the last I checked, he was batting .390. Any chance he can bat 400? Any possibility? I don't know, but it's sure going to be fun to watch him try. All right, I have some rare cards here now. These are the 1929 W553 super low pops on these babies. This is a Rogers Hornsby. These are cutouts with kind of an ornate border. If you want to collect the great players and the great cards from the 1920s, you know, you kind of have to collect these things, and they're rare. Somebody was on Rick and I's live feed making the comment that he didn't know why anybody would collect old cards. They're ugly. They look like old newspaper clippings. And I can understand that. If you started in the hobby buying new shiny cards, refractors, you might not be into this kind of stuff. But this is the kind of stuff that gets my juices flowing. Rogers Hornsby, one of the greatest baseball players to ever live. And here is a lefty-o duel. Of course, until they just redid all the stats, he was the 4th highest batting average in history. Man, these are rare. So these are the 1917 Collins McCarthy. You can see on the back here. And this is my man Buck Weaver. And Chick Gandil. Both, of course, associated with the 1919 Black Sox. And here is a Hans Lobert. And I heard Hans tell a story, and it's classic. He went up against a young Babe Ruth. And Babe was throwing hard. And he hit a ground ball and got thrown out at first, and he was circling, and he came past the dugout, and the manager said to him, he's like, "How do you like our young pitcher?" And Hans said, "He's the fastest I've seen." Or Hans. I'm sorry, his name's Hans. Hans said, "He's the fastest I've seen." And the manager said, "Wait till you see him hit." I have this rare set. This is a 1929 through 31. I'm sorry, 25 through 31. And these are known, I gotta look because I don't know them off the top of my head, W590. And these are some more really rare, cutout cards. Here's Rogers Hornsby. And they're blank back. Made over a number of years there, as you can see. Here's Walter Johnson. We're talking really low pops here. Here's a Ty Cobb. Cut a little crudely, but try to find one. Still presents great. Here's a Max Carey. I got these years and years ago. Didn't even know what it was when I got it. But was able to later identify it as this card. As this set, rather. And this is Kenneth Williams. And he was the first player to hit 2 home runs in the same inning. And I got a few golf cards. I got something extra special to show you. I can't believe I didn't start with that. But here's a 1952 Wheaties, Ben Hogan. My favorite golfer of all time. And Patty Berg. And she was the dominant female golfer after coming, I guess, overlapped a little bit, I think, and then became the dominant one after Babe Didrikson. And this here is a 1932 Bulgaria, Walter Hagen. And Walter Hagen was known to spray the ball all over the place, but to play really well, and he was a great competitor. And he had a famous saying, and that was, 3 bad shots and 1 great one still makes par. He was known to recover from, have fantastic recovery shots to save par. Great card. And one last thing before I show you this spectacular item. From 1982, Cracker Jack cards of some of the game's greats. This is the set. And these were great to get signed. Here is a signed Bob Feller that I have. Always loved these cards. I don't care that they're not worth anything. All right, guys. I showed you this. I got this. Topps would keep their cards in an album, and they would glue them to a page, the front and the same card on the back. So there are two cards glued to these pages, and Topps always kept them in their facility. And they decided, when they were, I guess they wanted to clean out their facility, and they decided to auction off their stuff under the Topps vault. And I have a number of items from them, but I just got another extra special one because I have that for football, but I did not have the baseball. And it has a whole bunch of great players on here. And I have to blame Rick. He's a bad influence on me. See, Rick is trying to get me to spend all my national money so he won't have any competition when we go. But this is from the Topps vault, their personal file copies. And I just love it. I'll hug it and love it and name it George. Who remembers that? That's what I have for you guys. Don't forget to check out me and Rick and have some fun and see some great e-cards. Thanks for hanging out with me.